Hey friends, this is Pennie Hunt, and this is Pennie Heart to Heart, day 16. 16, I'm running out of fingers and toes. Day 16 that I've been coming to you at 3 o'clock Mountain Time to share with you something I'm thinking about, a tip or a technique to help us get through this crazy time in life, or any time in life actually. But I've been coming for 16 days here to you and chatting with you online. It's been great fun for me, and I hope you've enjoyed it and you've learned a few things, and you've, more importantly, used a few things in your own life, and it's been helpful for you. I want to just, before I start, I'm going to flip this around so you can see my book the right direction. Did I do it right? Okay. All right, I must not be doing it right today. There we go. Love your life no matter what. My tip book on living in love and gratitude. I want to tell you that I'm giving these books away. Sorry, I'm having a little technical difficulty here. I'm not very techy. And flipping that book around so you see it the right way is a trick for me. I'm giving books away. Every week I give one away to people who are watching these videos, and in the comment line write, "I'd love your book." And then at the end of the week I draw from the people who post that in the comment line, and I have a stack growing, and as soon as we can get out and about and I can get to the airport, I will be mailing them. I have the new one all packaged and ready to go, and it's going to Valerie in Alaska, all the way to Alaska. So I live in Wyoming, so that's a little jaunt for this book to take. But it will be in the mail as soon as I can get to the post office. So I encourage you to write, "I love your book" in the comment line, and you will have a chance to win this week's drawing. And then I let you know the name next Sunday. So I encourage you to do that. And if you watch this video afterwards, if it's not after it's not live anymore, but it's just posted, you can still comment, because I go back and check and see if anybody else has commented before I do the drawing for the week. And that's a fun thing for me to do, is give away books. Today, I thought of something this morning that I wanted to share with you, and it works for me. All of my tips are tips that are just self-taught, things that I have taught myself in difficult times, or when I'm stressed, or I need something to help me, and they work for me, and that's why I teach them to you, and that's why I wrote the book. But today I'm going to tell you a story about something that I do for me when I'm stressed, and when I'm anxious, or when I'm scared, or not even feeling well. Any of those things that happen in our lives, this is something that works for me, and I started doing this years ago. And I talk, I think it was our very first video 16 days ago, I talked about meditation. But today I want to talk to you about visualizing places in your mind. Visualization and meditation are similar, but a little bit different. And so I want to tell you how I do this. Years ago, I bet I was 30 years old because my kids were little, and I love water. I grew up water skiing. I grew up most of my growing up years in South Dakota, and water skied a lot and swam a lot. And one of the things that I did with my kids when they were little was take them to lakes, and we would take picnics. And one of these adventures, I was out on this small lake in South Dakota on an air mattress. You know, the old kind of air mattresses that were probably $1.99 at that time, maybe not even that much. And floating on my back, and it was one of those days where it was perfect. Everything was perfect. The temperature was perfect. The water was smooth and perfect. The kids were happy. The sun was shining. And I remember laying on that air mattress on my back, just floating around the water. And I remember feeling how wonderful the sun felt and how happy I was. It was just one of those perfect days that come along every once in a while. We have those perfect days where it just seems like it can't get better than this. And I remember I felt relaxed, I felt comfortable, I felt at peace. I felt like everything in the world was right. And I never forgot that day. Now, looking from the outside, there was nothing extraordinary about this day. It was just a, quick trip to this little lake with a picnic with my kids. And it wasn't, fireworks and explosions. It was just a normal day. But for me, it felt perfect. So I remember that feeling and have never forgotten it. So this is where visualization comes in. I struggled with migraines for years and years, and that is when I started teaching myself visualization and doing things to visualize when I was in pain with a migraine. But now, as I said, when I'm not feeling well, when I'm out of sorts, when I'm sad, when I'm lonely, when I'm scared, any of these emotions that we all go through, one of the things I do is close my eyes and visualize myself back floating on that lake, on that little air mattress, and feeling the sun and how wonderful it felt. And I take myself away from what's happening right there in the moment. Now, let me qualify this by saying I teach a lot of tips about keeping yourself present, being in the moment, enjoying where you are. But this technique works when something is happening in the moment that you're in that isn't great, that you want to escape from just momentarily. And so I visualize myself in that happy place, in that place where I was floating on that inner tube and everything in the world seemed right to me. Everything felt right. I felt great. The sun felt great. The water was so soothing and I was just floating along. It was a memory that I can still see. I can hear it. I can hear the sounds. I can smell the air and what lake water smells like. And if you're a lake person like me, you understand what that means. I could see and touch in all my senses. I can use all my senses and put myself right back in that spot. So this is what I would like you to try. Right now, or any time in your life, this works, but especially right now. I think day 16 for me, being in the house, we're starting to feel a little stir crazy. We're starting to feel like we need to get out and do something or be around people, or we need to just be able to move and have some normalcy, I think, is what we're thinking. And so if you're in that state and you're starting to get really frustrated and you're starting to get worried and you're not feeling good, I've had a couple of days where I didn't feel good, and I think it's because I am not being able to get out and do the things that I normally do. And so that makes our minds and our bodies not feel good. So if you're in one of those states, just take a moment. Find a place in your home. It doesn't have to be fancy. And I always tell people, if you can't find a place alone, go sit in your car. Even if you drive it out into the driveway or go to an empty store where it's closed and sit in the empty parking lot, or just, sit in your own driveway, just sit in your car. It's a great place to find a moment alone. Close your eyes and think of a place that you felt like the world was good, like everything was happy, like it was perfect, like my happy place that I always go to. Mine is not fancy. It's a little bitty lake, a little bitty air mattress that I was on. It was a pretty normal day. But whatever that is to you, maybe it was the day that your baby was born or you got married. Maybe it is an event and you can remember that in great detail and you remember how happy you were. But whatever it is for you, try to get your mind to visualize and relive that again. When I started doing these visualization techniques because of my migraine headaches, one of them that I used was visualizing a bubble. And I don't know where I came up with this, but I would visualize blowing a bubble, like the little bottles of bubbles, and you bring out the wand and you blow the bubble into the air. And I would just take very slowly, visualize every movement of it, taking the wand out, holding it up and looking at it, blowing it very slowly and watching the bubble get big, 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 big. And then I would watch it float ever so slowly up into the sky. And when it would get to a point that it would pop, when it popped, I would visualize my migraine leaving. I would, in that second, when the bubble popped, my migraine would be gone. I practiced this many, many, many times because I struggled for a lot of years with migraines. So that was another way that I used to do it. But what I would encourage you to do today is give some thought to where your happy place is in your mind, where that is. When you get good at this, and it won't take long, because right now we have a lot of free time, most of us do. It won't take long for you to sit and just keep thinking about that place and revisualizing it and feeling it. And remember to put all of the senses in, the smell, the taste, the sounds, everything that was happening that day. Put all of that in. Textures, if it was something that you felt. I can feel my hand going off the side of the air mattress into the lake water. All of those kind of things, put those in your visualization so that it seems so incredibly real that your mind can't tell the difference. Because see, your mind, it doesn't know if you're just thinking that or if it's really happening. You can convince your mind that that is really happening again and put your body right back in that happy place. You don't have to spend hours doing this. Do this a few minutes at a time. But find a quiet place just for you and practice this. Again, I always say, teach these things to your kids. So the first step with your kids, again, just like you, is to get them to find a happy place that they remember. What was that day that you had the best time of your life? Remember doing one thing that you just had so much fun doing? Can you remember that? And have your kids come up with what their happy place was, and then teach them to relive it. And teach them the senses. Teach them how to remember what it smelled like, what the air smelled like, or that cupcake smelled like, or whatever it is that they come up with. And how did it taste? And how did the texture feel? And who was there? And who was with you? And all of the details that you can come up with. Visualization. And so when you have these moments, I think we all are in a point where we're roller coastering a little bit. We have good days and we have moments that aren't so great because we are getting tired of the situation. So that is my tip today. Tomorrow, I've got even another idea that I'm going to talk to you about visualization in a different way. And equally as important, equally as easy, and again, my tips don't cost anything. You just have to try them, and I always say that they work. You just have to give them a try. So again, if you want to be in the drawing for the book giveaway, all you have to do is in the comment put "I love your book," even if you watch this later when it's just posted and not live anymore. Go ahead and comment and you will be in the drawing for next week's giveaway. I am so excited that you've been joining me. Day 16. Day 16, we've been doing this. So tomorrow's day 17. I'll be here at 3 p.m. Mountain Time. And please share this if you think you know somebody that's really struggling or in the same boat as all of us, and that they would benefit from joining us and listening to these little chats with me. I would love for you to invite your friends and join us at 3 o'clock. So thank you so much for your time. I am Pennie Hunt. This has been Pennie Heart to Heart. Thanks for watching.